Welcome back to another EDD Toolbar update. Today I'm going to show you how you can import Concordance delimiter DAT files right into Excel and then export them out. Again, with Concordance delimiters and with basically doing no manual work in the text editor. Let's go to my screen and I'll show you what I got. So we're in Excel, and as you remember, we were working on this import-export toolbar. So besides importing and exporting a DAT file, I added this little box here so we could specify the prefix number to use starting number. So if we want to start at 45 with the prefix ABC, all right, we can load a dir list, and we'll get that prefix in the starting number. The other thing you have, if you want to make a list of all the JPEGs, you can specify a search mask. So simple stuff like that. So if we do this, bam, we're only gonna get JPEGs, right? So that's simple, kind of self-explanatory. Where I want to concentrate on is this DAT CSV import export. This is really exciting. So a lot of people like to put their DAT files into Excel for QC purposes. Sometimes they resave it to a CSV. Not entirely sure that's the best thing to do, but some people like to bring them into Excel. And then they do take the content of Excel and export to a DAT file, and using Concordance delimiters is a bit of a pain. So let's see what we can do here. I'm gonna take this our sort of standard DAT file, right? The one I've been using with Message Crawler. So we have a normal DAT file, and we're gonna go import, and we're gonna select text messages, and bam. So we have all this loaded into Excel. We didn't have to mess with any delimiters. We didn't have to, do anything weird in the import screen. It just imports, right? So now we can do preview, we can tally, we can QC, we can use whatever Excel tools we want. So that's really cool. Now you could change this to use CSV delimiters. Not much use to it because you can load CSV files as is. However, if you have numeric fields that are zero filled, if you're going to use the toolbar, it should preserve all the zeros in front. And what Excel is usually going to do is take all the zeros out and make it into a numeric column. So there is actually a use for that. All right, let's quickly look at the export now. So let's say we want to export this back to a DAT file. What you need to do is select a range, right? So you don't just go like this, you select sort of like that. And if you want to go all the way to the bottom, you go to the bottom. But let's pretend we want to only export from conversation to from only those columns, and we only go into row 31. So we can click on export, and we can say export.dat, and it's going to export it out. So if we bring our text pad back, we can drag and drop out export, and you see how we did. We exported only from the conversation up to the from, 31 rows. Exactly what was selected in Excel. That's the only thing that was exported to a DAT file. And again, we're using Concordance delimiters in one click. We're not messing about with search and replace or any of that stuff that will get you in trouble. Now, we can, of course, say, okay, let's use CSV delimiters, and let's actually overwrite our existing file, and that is going to give us comma delimited as expected. Now, the other thing we can do here is we can say no quotes on export. So this isn't a good idea to use on a DAT file, but we're gonna do it anyway. But where this is a good idea is for the OPT. So whenever you are working with OPT files, you know that we don't want any quotes, right? So what you're able to do is load OPT file into Excel, mess about with it, change whatever you need to, fix up paths, and then export it right out, again, without needing to use a text editor to do any kind of manual manipulation, because that's usually how people get into trouble. You replace it once, it's okay. Replace it twice, it's okay. But then sometimes, you're having a bad day and you search and replace something incorrectly, and, next thing, client's calling back and is like, what happened in this file? So this is what we did here. You can pretend this is an OPT file. We're only using comma as the delimiter. There are no quotes here. So that is going to be my update for now. I feel like at this point I am ready to start putting this toolbar on my website and offering it to people to kind of use it, maybe purchase it. And speaking of purchasing, I want to talk about pricing, but I'm going to do it in the next video. So next time I will explain how much it's going to cost and all the details behind how I want to distribute. So with that in mind, thank you for checking out this update. Questions, comments, let me know. This should be available on my website. Please download if you would like to get a trial version of it. And I will see you on the next update.